Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 7, text number 6. Sampracharatsu nana yageshu virachitanga kriyeshu apurvam yattat kriyaphalam dharmakyam pare brahmani yagna purushe sarva devata linganam yagna purushe sarva devata linganam mantranam artha niyamaya kathaya Sakshat Kartari Paradevatayam Bhagavati Vasudeva Eva Bhavayamana Atma Naipunya Mrudita Kashayaha Havishva advaryubhir grahyamaneshu sa yajamano yagna bhajo devams tan purusha avayaveshva abhyadhyayat Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. After performing the preliminaries of various sacrifices, Maharaj Bharata offered the results in the name of religion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. In other words, he performed all the yagnas for the satisfaction of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna. Maharaj Bharata thought that since the demigods were different parts of Vasudeva's body, he controls those who are explained in the Vedic mantras. By thinking in this way, Maharaj Bharata was freed from all material contamination, such as attachment, lust, and greed. When the priests were about to offer the sacrificial ingredients into the fire, Maharaj Bharata expertly understood how the offering made to different demigods was simply an offering to the different limbs of the Lord. For instance, Indra is the arm of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Surya, the sun, is his eye. Thus, Maharaj Bharata considered that the oblations offered to different demigods were actually offered unto the different limbs of Lord Vasudeva. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead says that as long as one does not develop the pure devotional service of Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, one must carry out his prescribed duties. Since Bharat Maharaj was a great devotee, one may ask why he performed so many sacrifices that are actually meant for karmis. The fact is that he was simply following the orders of Vasudeva. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. Whatever we do, we should constantly remember Vasudeva. People are generally addicted to offering obeisances to various demigods. But Bharat Maharaj simply wanted to please Lord Vasudeva. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. A yagna may be carried out to satisfy a particular demigod. But when the yagna is offered to the yagna Purusha, Narayana, the demigods are satisfied. The purpose of performing different yagnas is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. One may perform them in the name of different demigods or directly. If we directly offer oblations to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demigods are automatically satisfied. If we water the root of a tree, the branches, twigs, fruits, and flowers are automatically satisfied. When one offers sacrifices to different demigods, one should remember that the demigods are simply parts of the body of the Supreme. If we worship the hand of a person, we intend to satisfy the person himself. If we massage a person's legs, we do not really serve the legs, but the person who possesses the legs. All the demigods are different parts of the Lord, and if we offer service to them, we actually serve the Lord Himself. Demigod worship is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita, but actually the shlokas advocate worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda. For instance, worship of the goddess Durga is mentioned in this way in Brahma Samhita. Srishti sthiti pralaya sadhana shakti reka chaye vayasya bhuvanani bibharti Durga ichhanurupamapi yasya chacheshtate sa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Following the orders of Sri Krishna, the goddess Durga creates, maintains, and annihilates. Sri Krishna also confirms this statement in Bhagavad Gita. Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and non-moving beings. We should worship the demigods in that spirit. Because the goddess Durga satisfies Krishna, we should therefore offer respects to goddess Durga. Because Lord Shiva is nothing but Krishna's functional body, we should therefore offer respects to Lord Shiva. Similarly, we should offer respects to Brahma, Agni, and Surya. There are many offerings to different demigods, and one should always remember that these offerings are usually meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bharat Maharaj did not aspire to receive some benediction from demigods. His aim was to please the Supreme Lord. In the Mahabharata, among the 1,000 names of Vishnu, it is said, Yagna Bhuk Yagna Krit Yagnaha. The enjoyer of Yagna, the performer of Yagna, and Yagna itself are the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is the performer of everything, but out of ignorance the living entity thinks that he is the actor. As long as we think we are the actors, we bring about karma bandha, bondage to activity. If we act for yagna, for Krishna, there is no karma bandha. Yagnarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work binds one to this material world. Following the instructions of Bharat Maharaj, we should act not for our personal satisfaction, but for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, it is also stated, Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapas dattam krutam chayat asad iti ityuchyate partha nachatat pretya no iha. Sacrifices, austerities, and charities performed without faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead are non-permanent. Regardless of whatever rituals are performed, they are called asat, non-permanent. They are therefore useless both in this life and the next. Kings like Maharaj Ambarisha and many other Rajarshis who are pure devotees of the Lord simply passed their time in the service of the Supreme Lord. When a pure devotee executes some service through the agency of another person, he should not be criticized, for his activities are meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. A devotee may have a priest perform some karma kanda, and the priest may not be a pure Vaishnava, but because the devotee wants to please the Supreme Lord, he should not be criticized. The word apurva is very significant. The resultant actions of karma are called apurva. When we act piously or impiously, immediate results do not ensue. We therefore wait for the results, which are called apurva. The results are manifest in the future. Even the smartas accept this apurva. Pure devotees simply act for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the results of their activities are spiritual or permanent. They are not like those of the karmis, which are non-permanent. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Gata sangasya muktasya gnana vastita chetasaha yagnaya charataha karma samagram praviliyate. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. A devotee is always free from material contamination. He is fully situated in knowledge, and therefore his sacrifices are intended for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. This is a long verse, long text, not a verse, and a long translation and a long purport. But it's actually very, very significant. Very, very special things are mentioned here. So let's try to, there is one statement. Dhanam jaye hataka sampariksha. Maharane shastra britham pariksha. Vipatti kale grihini pariksha. Vidyavatam bhagavate pariksha. It is said, Dhanam jaye hataka pariksha. Hataka is gold. Gold is tested in fire. Dhanam jaye. Dhanam jaye is fire. Gold is tested in fire. Shastra britham Maharane Pariksha. Somebody who is a wielder of weapons, Shastra Brutham. He may be wielding his weapons at home while practicing, but his real test is Maharane in the battlefield. Right? So, Maharane Shastra Brutham Pariksha. Vipatti Kale Grihini Pariksha. A wife is tested when the family is going through vipat, some difficulties, calamities. And at that time, she stays on and endures and takes the family through that. So, Grihini Vipatti Kale Pariksha. In the same way, Vidyavatam Bhagavate Pariksha. If you want to test a Pandita, you have to test whether he can explain Bhagavatam. Because Bhagavatam is considered, among all Sanskrit literatures, a very difficult composition. If one can explain Bhagavata, that's a test of a scholar. And if you see this verse, actually if you look at it, its composition is really tough. And the way Srila Prabhupada makes it accessible, intelligible, understandable is something very extraordinary. This aspect we must appreciate. Actually, Prabhupada did this on a very grand scale. Now, if you look at that, if you imagine that picture of Tompkins Square Park, it's a park in New York City. It's a small park, not very big. And there are many tall trees. And under one of those trees, Srila Prabhupada would stand and he would chant Hare Krishna mantra from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock in the evening. 3 hours he would stand and chant. He did that for many, many months. After some time it becomes very cold. But during the summer months of 1966, Prabhupada would do that. And there were young American boys and girls in the park, and sometimes passing by a lot of buildings around. Sometimes people pass through that. And they would stand and watch. Who is this old man thinking all to himself? So with closed eyes, sometimes opening his eyes and singing. Imagine that kind of a situation. And some of them would get attracted, would stand by, and then sometimes Prabhupada would speak little, and Prabhupada would invite them, come with me. And when he walked back to the 26 2nd Avenue storefront, the first temple, some of them walked behind him. And then, Westerners are very proud of their achievement because they have done 1960s. America was the pinnacle. There was no, at that time, China was not big. Today, in this world, in today's world, so many big countries are there. Those days, America was considered very big. And Americans and generally Westerners, they're very proud of their achievements, how they have got high quality of enjoyment and life in their countries. Very self-confident. And to such people, Srila Prabhupada made this knowledge accessible. Otherwise, this knowledge is all locked up in Sanskrit. Prabhupada makes one statement in the Chaitanya Charitamrita purport. Scriptures are full of grave statements and meanings. Scriptures are full of grave statements and meanings. These are all statements which have tremendous gravity, and the meaning is full of gravity. It's meant for something very higher goal, higher purpose. And these Westerners, how will they understand this? Prabhupada made them appreciate. He made this knowledge accessible. He made them this knowledge intelligible. He made this knowledge that they can, in a way, presented it in such a way they can appreciate it, they can embrace it, and to the extent they set aside everything that they had learned in their Western life, Western ways of life, as useless things, and embraced this knowledge given in the Vedic literature. And he did this all over the world. Actually, we should reflect on this. It's an extraordinary achievement. What Prabhupada, kind of an impact that Srila Prabhupada created. So now if you look at this verse, this is actually grave statements, grave meanings. So, let's read a little bit more closely. It's no wonder, it is no surprise, Srila Prabhupada wanted us to read his books scrutinizingly. One reading of a shloka and the translation and the purport, we will understand some things, but there are many, many things which are packed in this purport and the verse and the translation. We will miss it unless we read it again and again and again. And we should read it at different times, because sometimes, our life, we are a little sleepy generally, because we rise early, we don't drink coffee or tea. For so many years we have not drunk coffee or tea. There's no caffeine. In the outside world, how people keep themselves active. Every few hours they'll be drinking coffee. That's what keeps them awake and alert. We don't drink coffee, so we start reading Bhagavatam, we fall asleep. It happens. But these words of the Bhagavatam and the translation purport Prabhupada has written actually requires our best attention to be given. We should give the best attention to read these purports again and again. Let's try to appreciate some of these things. See what is happening here, the previous verses of the Bhagavatam, just fourth and fifth, mentioned that Bharat Maharaj performed many, many different kinds of sacrifices. He did his different duties as a king. And here in this particular verse, it mentions, Sampracharatsu nana yageshu virachita angakriyeshu. He performed nana yageshu, yaga, yagna, he performed different yagnas. Not only he performed different yagnas, virachita angakriyeshu virachita, and he performed many other supplementary rites and rituals also. So, which means he performed yagna even for the devatas. Not only the yagna is generally meant for Vishnu, but it says virachita anga kriyeshu. Anga means part of, not the main, even supplementary, which are meant for different devatas. He performed that also. So a question may be asked, why did Bharat Maharaj do this? He's actually a Mahabhagavata, he's a great devotee. Why was he worshipping the demigods through different sacrifices? That's the question that is being answered. That is why Prabhupada begins the purport like this, you see. The Supreme Personality of Godhead says that as long as one does not develop the pure devotional service of Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, one must carry out his prescribed duties. Since Bharat Maharaj was a great devotee, one may ask why he performed so many sacrifices that are actually meant for karmis. That's the question. And how did he perform? Why did he perform? What was in his mind when he was performing? That is being discussed in this verse. Okay. Sampracharastu, nana yageshu, virachita angak, kriyeshu, apurvam yathat, kriyaphalam. Here there is a word apurvam has come. Right? And Prabhupada has translated the word apurvam, remote. And in the purport later on, Prabhupada said, this word is very significant. Where is that? The word apurva is very significant. Why is Prabhupada saying it is very significant? The word apurva is very significant. The resultant actions of karma are called apurva. Apurva, purva, apurva. Right? Purva, apurva. Purva means past. Apurva means future. Not immediate. Apurva has that sense of a meaning. Purva and apurva. Purva means former, earlier. Apurva means later, not immediately in front of us. So when the resultant actions of karma are called apurva because the resultant actions come later. It doesn't come immediately. Prabhupada is explaining. When we act piously or impiously, immediate results do not ensue. We therefore wait for the results which are called apurva. The results are manifest in the future. So, this verse is talking about the kriyaphalam apurva. Virachita anga kriyeshu, in which the supplementary rites were performed, apurvam yattat kriyaphalam. He performed all this, and there was a phala which would come later, and how it is, we will see. And what was the kriya phala? Dharmakyam. It was, the phala was something called dharma. Dharmakyam. Akyam means known as. Dharmakyam. Something known as dharma was the phala, and it was pare brahmani yagna purushe sarva yagna purush. It was actually meant for pare brahmani. He was performing yagna for the devatas, but it was actually meant for pare brahmani. Let's see the translation, how Prabhupada explains. After performing the preliminaries of various sacrifices, Maharaj Bharata offered the results in the name of religion, dharmakyam, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. After saying this, Prabhupada is further elaborating. In other words, he performed all the yagnas for the satisfaction of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna. Maharaj Bharata thought that since the demigods were different parts of Vasudeva's body, he, Krishna, controls those who are explained in the Vedic mantras. By thinking in this way, Maharaj Bharata was freed from all contamination, such as attachment, lust and greed. Now, look at this. Here, what was Bharat Maharaj was doing all these different yagnas and angakriya, supplementary activities, all these things. What was he thinking That's the last word in the verse, if you see. Abhyadhyayat, dhyayat, dhyana is to think, is to meditate. Abhyadhyayat was particularly, what was he meditating on? What he thought. Abhyadhyayat. While he was performing all these things, what was he thinking? And what was he thinking? Purusha avyavayeshu. Avyava means limbs, different parts. Purusha avyavayeshu. All the devatas are Purusha avyava. They are limbs of Vishnu, of the Supreme Lord. You see? So he thought, although he was doing worship of the different devatas in the yagnas, he was thinking, all these devatas I am worshipping, I am offering oblations, I am serving them, I am offering my prayers to them, I am glorifying them. But actually, they are all limbs of the body of Vishnu. And when you serve the limbs, you are actually serving the whole person. This is beautifully explained in the purport. I'll read this part. Prabhupada is saying there are two ways to do yagna. One is directly for Vishnu. Another is indirectly by worshipping the different devatas. Two methods are there. So many people in Hinduism, they worship different devatas. Some who know that Vishnu is the Yagna Purusha, they worship devata. See, very nicely Prabhupada explains this here in the purport. The purpose of performing different yagnas is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. One may perform them in the name of different demigods or directly. One may perform in the name of demigods or one may directly. So, if you do directly, what is it? If we directly offer oblations to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demigods are automatically satisfied. How? Example. If we water the root of a tree, the branches, twigs and fruits and flowers are automatically satisfied. You pour water to the root of a tree, the whole tree is benefited. Krishna is the root, Mula, Adi, Purusha, Adi Mula of the whole thing, of the whole creation. If you please him, the whole creation will be satisfied. Now, if it is done indirectly, what happens? When one offers sacrifices to different demigods, one should remember that the demigods are simply parts of the body of the Supreme. If we worship the hand of a person, we intend to satisfy the person himself. If we massage a person's legs, we do not really serve the legs, but the person who possesses the legs. This is a beautiful analogy. When you massage somebody's leg, you think you are serving his leg or you are serving the man. We are actually serving the person who has the legs. And we are trying to massage his legs. And it looks like we are serving the leg. But actually, the man who is having the leg, very nice, that's nicely you are massaging me. He'll be feeling. You see, you may glorify, you may worship a demigod, but the demigod is actually part of Vishnu, and hence Vishnu is being pleased. In this way, Bharat Maharaj was thinking, Abhyadhyayat, Purusha Avyavayeshu. He thought that all these demigods are actually avayava, meaning limbs of the Purusha. Avayaveshu, Purusha avayaveshu, abhyadhyayat. In this way he was thinking. Say, for suppose you present somebody a gold wristwatch, and then he puts the gold wristwatch. Is the hand being served? Or now he feels, now I am having a gold wristwatch. He is happy. You see, you give a nice turban to the head. Are you serving the head? No, the man who wears the head, he feels good. I'm looking so good now. You may be serving a part of the body, but actually you're serving the whole the person who possesses the different parts of the body is being gratified. In this way, this is actually the intent of the purpose of the worship of the devatas. Not many people know this. So here, very nicely, Prabhupada brings this point. The fact is that he was simply following the orders of Vasudeva. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. Whatever we do, we should constantly remember Vasudeva. People are generally addicted to offering obeisance to various demigods, but Bharat Maharaj simply wanted to please Lord Vasudeva. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram. A yagna must be carried out to satisfy a particular demigod. But when the yagna is offered to the yagna purusha, Narayana, the demigods are satisfied. The purpose of performing different yagnas is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. One may perform them in the name of different demigods or directly. This is another important thing that Srila Prabhupada mentions. Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. But he spoke about so many topics in the Bhagavad Gita. And in the 18th chapter, he said, all that I have spoken to you, you forget everything. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Prabhupada brings up this question in one lecture. Why didn't Krishna say that, his main point, right in the first verse, or maybe the first chapter, or maybe the second chapter? He talked about yoga, he talked about karma, he talked about yagna, he talked about yagna to the various devatas. Why is that? In other words, Prabhupada explains, there is a different stages of revelation of the knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita. You get higher and higher and higher and higher knowledge. This is because there are different levels of human consciousness. According to the level of human consciousness, they get attracted to different aspects. And when they get attracted to a certain aspect of Vedic knowledge and Vedic practice, and if by doing that, if they can get elevated a little bit more to a higher understanding, they have made progress. And then in the 18th chapter, finally Krishna is saying, that is the direct method. Krishna was talking about the indirect method. And then Krishna finally said, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharana. He also said, the direct method, you surrender to me. Not everyone is ready to surrender to Krishna. Not everyone is ready to surrender to accept. Surrender to Krishna means what? Accepting Krishna's position and accepting our position. We are reluctant to accept that. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. We think we have to enjoy. Recently, I had one experience in our temple here. A very well-known singer came to our temple here. I know she's a very good singer. She has a big social media presence, lakhs of followers and fans and lakhs of views, all that. So when she came, I was meeting her in the office with her mother and a few others. She had come. Because I know her, she's a singer, and she had sung in Vrindavan, our temple. So I asked her, oh, did you have darshan? And she said, yes. And, like people come, I asked her, do you wish to sing for the Lord? I knew she said she has got another hour or so, she said. So I asked her, do you wish to sing for the Lord? And she didn't show any enthusiasm. So I got a little doubt, maybe she didn't have darshan yet. I asked, did you have darshan? And she said, yes, I had darshan. Then I asked her, when you had darshan in the temple, did you see the devotees were singing? She said, yeah, I think somewhere in the back. So I said, yes. So do you also wish to sing? Again, I saw she was not enthusiastic. In a few seconds, I could read her mind. There is a crowd of people. She wants to sing in a right platform where a lot of people are watching and hearing her beautiful singing so that they will appreciate her singing. And I'm proposing to her, and I was proposing to her, you sing for the Lord. Lord will be pleased. However you sing, wherever you sing, Krishna will hear that, and he'll be pleased by your bhava. I'm proposing that. But she was actually evaluating. If I sing there, somebody takes a video, how will it look? What will happen to my social media positioning? And see, people want to sing for their name and fame and glory. People are not ready to sing for pleasing Krishna. That's a very big thing. You see, she was reluctant. Then I was about to say, you should sing for Krishna. But then I saw that there was reluctance. I withheld and I didn't offer that you're going to sing for the Lord. I knew she's not in that plane at all. So people want to act, people want to do different things for their pleasure. But Krishna is saying, no, you must act for my pleasure. Yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, yad dadasi, yad tapassati, tat kurushva madarpanam. Offer it to me. Living entities are not ready to offer. They want to offer for themselves, for their pleasure, for their name and glory. You see how the consciousness of a person is? But of course, she is a pious woman, religious woman, and she wants to sing. But she wants to sing Krishna songs when there is light on her, the social media, the cameras are on her, and that way she will sing for Krishna. You see how the mentality of the living entity is? That is why Krishna is gradually recognizing that there will be living entities at different stages of consciousness, different levels of human consciousness. And so the Vedic literatures are meant to gradually elevate them. They are not interested in understanding the soul. Prabhupada explains this. You see, there is Karma Kanda portion of the Vedic literatures. What does Karma Kanda teach? You worship different devatas, and in this way, you will get material result. Apurva may not be immediately later, after a certain time, and you will get result, you will get good result, you will enjoy life now, and not only now, even in your next life you will enjoy if you do good karma. This is there in all Hindu concept, right? Everybody in Hindu religion, they think we should do something good, not only now, next life also I will. When you understand and when you accept, I must have good times in my next life, already there is an impression implanted in our heart that I am not the body, I am a soul who is going to survive the demise and destruction of this body, and I will go on to another life situation. You see how intelligently Vyasadeva has created all these things? The very fact that we understand, no, in future also I should be happy. That understanding that I am in a small way. Prabhupada has very clearly taught that. We are not the body, we are the soul. That's the first teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. But for those who are not ready to hear all these things, understand that I am a soul, they are only interested in enjoyment in this life, and next life also I should enjoy. And this karma kanda will ensure that I will get punya phala, not only now, even later. And they are doing that one. Silently they are learning that I have a life beyond this body. That is why when you talk to Indians about next life, soul, very quickly they accept that one. Westerners who don't have that understanding, it's a hard thing. So you can see how all these different parts of the aspects of the Vedic knowledge are gradually helping us, little by little by little. This is a gradual method. Krishna also wants to give, especially for Kali Yuga, a direct method. Surrender to me. This is what is actually happening in this purport. You can read this verse more leisurely. There are 2-3 verses of the Bhagavad Gita Prabhupada is quoting. Why Prabhupada is quoting these verses? It requires a little bit of a reflection and thinking. So how Bharat Maharaj, he performed all these things, and Bhagavati Vasudeve eva bhavayamanaha. Bhavayati is to think. And he was always Vasudeve eva bhavayamanaha. He was always doing worship of the demigods, but he was thinking of Vasudeva. And one last point, Atma Naipunya Mrudhita Kashayaha. He was, see, Kashaya means dirt. It can also mean that something that you drink, mixture of many things, right? In Ayurveda, you drink Kashaya. The word Kashaya has multiple meanings. One of the meanings is that it means dirt, contaminations in the heart. Mridhita Kashayaha. Mridhita means, Mridhu means soft, pliable. Mridhita Kashayaha. And Atma Naipunya Mridhita Kashayaha. Atma means self. Naipunya, Nipuna means expert. He thought of Krishna expertly, and because of thinking of Krishna, his Kashaya, dirty things, Mridhita, Mridhu became soft and got washed away. Here in the sense it became hard thing. Make it soft and then it will get washed away. Atma Naipunya Mridhita Kashayaha. Freed from all lust and anger by his expertise in such thinking of Vasudeva while he was doing all this. So this is how he purified himself, and of all the contaminations, he was expertly thinking of Krishna while he was engaged in the worship of the various demigods through the devatas, and he considered all these devatas are avayava, purusha avayava. He considered them all as limbs of Vasudeva, of the Supreme Lord, and in this way he was thinking, I am serving these demigods, all of these, but actually they are all limbs of the Lord, and I am pleasing the Lord. Like if somebody is massaging the leg, he's not serving the leg actually, he's serving the person who possesses the leg. That's the example Prabhupada has given in the purport. In this way, he was thinking of the Lord while he was doing all this. So that's the beautiful meaning that comes out, and it will not, when you read it, you may miss it. We have to read this again and again, and I urge all of you, read this verse and the purport and the translation a few times. You'll be able to unpack all the beautiful things that are there in the Bhagavatam verse and purport. We'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Go Premanandi.